Hi there, my name is Linka. I'm one of the movers cheerleaders in the community. Welcome to this call, these videos, and these introductions to the movers community rules. So the fact that you are here, you're listening to this video, I'm sure it's because you've just signed up and registered to participate at Movers Workshop. So I want to start by congratulating you if it's your first time joining the Movers Workshop for taking this very first step to join the community. And if you are already an active member of Movers community, thank you so much for taking your time to learn a bit more about this Movers community rules. It's very, very important to us, and we're going to tell you why is it right now. So let's begin. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I think it's already popped up. So in this video, we're going to talk about movers community rules. And the reason why is that we want to ensure everyone feels safe and comfortable in digital and online spaces. So the objective of this video, of this training, is that we want to go through some key ingredients of the movers community rules, which is safe space. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into this. And we also want to talk about and discuss a little bit why these rules are important. And we also want to elaborate and touch upon what is digital security and how can we protect ourselves. And we also want to spend some time to practice what we can do and for other people to make sure that we maintain this as a safe space in Movers program. All right, so let's begin with a quick self-reflection. When you hear safe space, this word, what comes into your mind? So I'm going to invite you to spend maybe around 10, 20 seconds to really think about, any keywords that pop up in your mind when you hear this word safe space, or any people, any faces, any images, any physical places or online community that comes into your mind when you hear this word safe space, and what do they have in common? So feel free to either just write it down in your notepad with your pen and paper, or any digital devices that you have. Just, spend some time to reflect what is a safe space. So I'm going to share one of the, our favorite definition, and we took it and adjusted it and adopted from publications by UNFPA. So it has all this, a safe space has all these key ingredients. So it's a formal or informal place where young people feel physically and emotionally safe. The term safe in the present context refer to the absence of trauma, excessive stress, violence, or fear of violence or abuse. It's a space where young people, being the intended beneficiaries, feel comfortable and enjoy the freedom to express themselves, which in this context, to express ourselves without the fear of judgment or harm. So whatever we, when we want to express ourselves, we want to share our opinion, we share our thoughts, we know that we are accepted. Things coming from us are welcomed, right? We don't feel uncomfortable knowing that there will be, this people are defending, or people are, trying to judge us. We just feel comfortable and safe because we know that we are accepted as who we are, even though they are, sometimes disagreements, but we know that people are talking out of, kind and positive intention, right? So this is a safe space. And also, I think I think this is also a very, very interesting checklist for us to, sometimes when we are in a certain context, or in a certain situation, certain scenario, maybe we don't feel very, very comfortable, but we don't know why, because sometimes it takes time for us to process our feeling and our emotion. And then, you know, no matter how hard maybe we ask ourselves questions, why am I feeling uncomfortable here? Maybe it's really, really hard to put things into boxes in a very short period of time. So I think this checklist can help us to understand whether or not we're feeling uncomfortable. It's because maybe this is not a safe space for us, right? So, so let's take a look at this checklist. So, you know, you are in a safe space if people in it trust and respect each other, accept and all perspective, even though they're different to others, to the one that they have. And then you know that no one will be judged, rejected, or shamed for anything that they share, right? So regardless of, you know, there are some of the behaviors and activities are, we are the target, but if we see other people are being bullied, we see other people being judged, maybe in a way that subconsciously we know that this is not a safe space, because if things can happen to other people, it can happen to us as well, right? But if all the signals, all the, you know, validations, all the messages from, you know, a digital or physical space are keep telling us this is a safe space, that people we truly respect each other and everyone acts with kindness, and you know, no one is will be judged, no one will be rejected and shamed, everyone is accepting each other's regardless of, you know, difference, regardless of, you know, and really embrace diversity. So this is a quick checklist for us to understand whether or not we are in a safe space. And again, I want to also encourage you to think about, is there any, you know, any faces in your head, any, you know, initiative, any physical digital spaces that you can think about that really tick all these boxes. So, and now we're going to really understand, why do we need safe spaces? Why is it important for us? And the other way to look at it is to think about, what would happen if we don't have a safe space for us, for ourselves? So I'm going to invite you to spend, you know, a few seconds, maybe a minute or two, to really reflect and think, why do we need safe space? What would happen if there's no safe space for us? What happen if there's no a place where we can be ourselves? What, you know, that we have to either say things that always please other people, or we cannot be ourselves, we have to hide our true selves, and you know, and or we constantly feel like we're judged. What would happen to our mind and our life if, you know, we don't have a safe space in our, you know, in our surroundings? So, so here are a list of some of the reasons why we need safe spaces. And I'm sure you have your very, very good, strong, and solid reasons as well. Just adding to your list, here are some of the answers from the movers community, and I really want to share that with you. So safe spaces can provide a break from judgment, unsolicited, unsolicited, wait, un, unsolicited opinions and having to explain yourself. It also allows people to feel supported and respected, right? And with safe space, we will be able to express ourselves freely so that we can feel more inclusive, so we can share authentically, unleash our creativity. Safe space allows us to grow. If I don't have my own safe space where I work, live, play, I cannot function 100% or reach my full potential. And it's also to express our views without any fear. And in very diverse community like we have right now in Movers community, we need safe space to really build this harmonious common ground to achieve something better, right? So if there's no safe space, people always constantly, you know, judging and fighting against each other, there's no space, there's no time for us to create something together, because we're just so, it's just so energy draining to try to, you know, defend ourselves, to judge other people, right? So safe space is really this place where we can create and, you know, build something together. So moving on, we're going to take a look at what are some of the digital risks, right? Because we are all, most of the time, I think since early 2020, most of the time the movers workshop are in a digital setting. So in a way that we also want to understand what are some of the digital risks that we may be unaware, but then we are exposed to. So it's really, really important to have this basic understanding. So, and again, just take a few minutes to really reflect something that happened, it either is related to your identification, your data, or, that the software or things that happened that to your friends or your personal experience. So what are some of the digital risks? So let's take a look at some of the broad categories. So the first one is identity theft, right? So, so it occurs when someone uses your personal information and pretend to be you, and in order to fraud and get other financial benefits, right? So for example, people stole other people's personal information and use their credit card. This kind of incidents that happens a lot, right? And your personal information that which includes your full name, address, email address, online login passwords, your ID number, your license, etc., etc. And so once those thieves access this information, they use it to commit identity theft or sell it on the dark web, right? And then the second big category is catfishing. So basically, it's a deceptive activity where a person creates fictional persona or fake identity in social networking service, right? So usually target a very specific victim, right? So someone, they create like a fake identity, fake faces, etc., etc. And then because of this, that the true identity is hiding behind this fake identity, and that kind of makes people feel like they would not get into trouble for any consequences, right? Then the person, this fake identity, they feel like they can do whatever they want because they won't get caught, right? So that's most of the time the person commit cyberbullying or this like kind of cybercrime. And then the third big category is deepfake. So basically it's referred to a video that has been edited using algorithm to replace the person in original video with someone else. So if you have not yet watched this video, you can search this deepfake video of Obama's speech, and then you will get a sense and understand what does it really mean. So with all this broad category, everything that being said, I think it's really, really important for us to always have this alertness in our mind to really ask ourselves, what are the source of different kinds of information, be really, really critical about everything that we receive online, and never trust, this random, untrustworthy source of information. And then with all that broader categories, and there are also some thing that we also want to remind you with, all this cyber bullying, cyber stalking, and cyber harassment, all these kind of things could also be, some of the digital risks that we are exposed ourselves with. So cyberbullying is, it's like bullying, right? But they use digital technology through repetitive behavior, so aimed at scaring, angering, or shaming people who are targeted, right? And cyber stalking involves also repetitive incidents, which may or may not individually be innocuous acts, but combined undermine the victim's sense of safety and cause distress, fear, or alarm. And then cyber harassment, it can take place in different types of forms, including but not limited to all these unwanted messages, inappropriate, advanced social networking website or internet chat rooms, threats, hate speech, etc., etc. So all these kind of things that we need to be, be aware of, that those kind of things exist, and we need to know that we need to be able to detect and understand these are cyberbullying, these are cyber stalking, this cyber harassment, right? Because sometimes we don't know why people behave in a certain way to us, and and we feel like that we don't really know what's going on. So it takes time for us to react. So it's really, really important that we know this kind of things, and we have to stop it as early as possible. We have to, either, inform people, we have to, protect ourselves, protect our, data security, etc. immediately. So it's very, very important to know about this. So what could we do? How can we, protect? What are some of the digital safety practices that we can do to protect ourselves? So I think they are, perhaps that you are doing some of them. So I'm just gonna invite you to take a few minutes to reflect and think about, have you tried to protect either your data security? Have you tried to make sure that you are in a safe digital environment? So very quickly, digital security means protecting your computer, mobile devices, or all the other digital devices and other internet connected devices from intruders, which can be in the form of hacking, phishing, and more. And digital security can be used to protect your personal data from being used and sold by companies. So with that being said, what can we do to make sure that our data, at least to our level of effort, it's safe, right? So first is to really keep your personal data to yourself. Make sure that anyone that you give access to is familiar and secure. Never have data like password or debit card number easily accessible in a congregated location like iPhone notes. And then second is to really set up multi-factor authentication to secure logins, to have at least one ensures that when hackers are attacking your data, you get notified as quick as a text message, right? And then get creative with your password, use different combinations, and and also change it regularly. And then another point is that know where you are serving, right? With all the links, with all the messages that that push to your interface, really be super alert about it. What's the source of this information? And then double check with sometimes that this kind of things are very, very deceptive, with one letter different, maybe it leads you to a phishing website, right? So really be very careful about what you are clicking, who's sending you the information, where's the source of that information. All right, so we're going to talk about how can we make the space safe for other people in the Movers program. And I think what we are going to share the following is not a very, very new thing. It's something that we are all very, very familiar with. And but then today we're going to understand it in a deeper level. So let me invite Ding Long to share.